Hello, all. This is Christina Book coming to you from the Association for Challenge Course Technology. I wanted to give you a little bit of information about a call for volunteers for one of our unique volunteer groups, the Consensus Group. Many of you have already received some information about this via the ACCT newsletter and social media posts. So let's start with a quick refresh on where the Consensus Group lives within our organization. In the upper left-hand corner, you will see a red box designated the consensus group. They function outside of our other groups due to the needs for the ANSI status for standards development. They report directly to the board of directors who act as the secretariat in the ANSI process. So, who does a volunteer, or what does a volunteer do within the consensus group? Let's take a look there. So, the consensus group as a whole, their job is to review standards proposed by the ACCT standards writing committees and make any changes to the proposed standards. You're going to vote on the approval of American national standards within the ACCT standards scope. You're going to be complying with policies and procedures for the interpretation of the standards developed by the consensus group. And you're going to be responding to requests for interpretations of the standards developed by the consensus group. If you want to find a little bit more about them or check out some of their meeting minutes, which are posted online, you're going to head on over to that URL there, which is acctinfo.org/ANSI consensus group. So you can pop over there, pause, pop on over if you would like to find out information, but please come back for some more information. So, what makes up the consensus group? The consensus group is made up of three different categories of group of individuals. The goal is that the groups have a balance of representation from materially interested parties in the industry affected by the standards. The three groups include general interest, vendors, and users. So, general interest includes representatives with a variety of perspectives that are neither vendors nor users. Vendors include representatives of interests directly involved in providing services to the user. So, this is providing services to users. And then users include representatives of interests directly involved in using the challenge courses. This includes, but is not limited to, facilities that operate facilitated programs, guided programs, and self guided or monitored programs. If there are openings in other categories that you identify with, but maybe not open right now, we still want you to apply for those potential positions as seats sometimes do open up. But really, the volunteers that we're looking for is anyone who has interest in standards and want to be part of that process. So if you are someone who wants to be part of that process, looking into volunteering with a consensus group is definitely something you should look into. So right now we are looking for general interest individuals. So we have two slots that are currently available. And again, this category includes representatives with a variety of perspectives that are neither vendors nor users. So examples might be regulatory agencies such as OSHA. We all know about them. Trade organizations, again, these are trade organizations that aren't in the vendor or user category. They may be standards writing organizations, consumer groups, thinking about who makes our harnesses and helmets and hardware and all those different things that we utilize within our space. And then also environmental groups. Think about the places that we have ropes courses and the groups that we work with in collaboration with having programs and groups and sometimes building and designing and all those things. And of course, researchers, those who are looking at what we're doing, how we're doing, all of those things. So if you fall into any of these kind of subcategories, and of course this is not limited to what's here on the screen, you can always apply and then work out which category you fall into in that application review process. So if you are chosen as a volunteer, what is it that you're going to be expected to do? The number one thing is that you got to attend those meetings. Most of the time, they meet once a month in those meetings, and then there may be some things that you need to do outside of those meetings. So, but you got to show up for the meetings themselves. We want you to partake in the conversations about the industry and the standards that we have. We want to review content that is currently under review in that standards review process. And we also really need you to be committed to following the consensus group process per ANSI requirement. So there is a requirement in how we are supposed to do things within the consensus group that we really need our volunteers to be on board with and really committed to. I talked to a couple of the current volunteers, and many of them shared that it's about a 3 hour per month commitment with meetings and other things that you might be doing. But depending on the project, that time may increase. And it's not going to increase in the long haul. They're just based off of those projects, but just something to be aware of as you are potentially applying for this position within that. All right, so last step, how do you apply? So you're going to pop on over, open up that website, and you're going to go to acctinfo.org, and you're going to hover over resources and go on down to standards, then click on consensus group, and that's going to open up a new page for you. And right there on the top of the page, there is currently a green button there that says application can be filled out here. You're going to click on that link there. It's going to pop up a JOT form, and you're going to complete that JOT form to the best of your ability, hit that submit button, and then you get to wait. That application is going to go through its processes to the consensus group for consideration, and someone will reach out to you for next steps within that process. So that's how you apply. Those are some of the expectations that we have for individuals who join that team. If you have any additional questions beyond what you've gotten in the newsletter, as well as this little tutorial here, please feel free to reach out to our office manager, John. He's at john@acctinfo.org. You can also go to the consensus group page itself and gather some information as well there. Overall, we really hope that this information provides you some insight into the group and some volunteer processes. And we're really looking forward to seeing some applications come through. Again, reach out if you have any other questions. Otherwise, have a fantastic day.